All right, we have the Allens with us today, at least the men. So sorry about the look for those who are watching on video.
Exactly. Those who are watching.
So,
Yeah, just the thorns without the roses.
yeah. So anyway, we'll get through this. We'll try not to worry too much about this, but we met the guys probably about a year or so ago at the last Nashville Quartet Convention, and love your music, love playing music, and we were talking before we even started. Everybody knows our target audience is that younger generation. That's who we're going after. As a matter of fact, we have just our digital downloads of our apps, online listening, averaging two or more hours every day. We have averaged more than 1,000 new listeners for this last year.
Wow. That's awesome.
And most of them
Praise
under
God.
the age of 35.
That's amazing.
And so that is definitely our target audience. So since the last time we talked to you guys, we got a new audience. So I want to kind of introduce yourself, introduce your family, what you guys do, so they can learn a little bit more about
Absolutely. Well, my name is Todd Allen, and I'm the dad and the patriarch of all of this. But my wife, Michelle, and I began this ministry of traveling and singing around the U.S. And Canada, and then now over into other parts of the world. But we've been doing it. Next year will mark 30 years. So all of our children basically grew up on a bus as we traveled from place to place. And with your target audience being in that range, I'm kind of way beyond all of that now. So, but that's my name. That's who I am. But I'm just going to let Josh introduce himself, since I already told you his name, and just kind of go on down and give you some information about him.
Well, hey, I'm Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that.
Doing my
you want
best.
to just kind of maybe come out a little bit more than ever good.
Well, so I have actually been traveling with the group all 30 of those years that we've been going, or 29 at this point. But yeah, it's been an amazing experience to see and to live on the road and to see how the ministry has changed over time, how the music has changed over time. It's not just our music, it's the music in general, gospel music. It sounds different than it did 30 years ago, and back at that point, it sounded different than it did 30 years before that.
Yep.
And it's really interesting to see how, sorry, they're having a really important conversation
With their hand.
in the middle.
Yeah.
You realize you're on camera, people are watching us right now.
This generation likes authentic, so
sign
we're
language.
good. We like authentic.
This is fantastic
Yeah.
radio with sign language going on.
Yes.
So welcome back to Southern Gospel ASMR, and where we just gently whisper into the microphone. But yeah, it's really neat to see how not just we as a group, but just the industry in general has embraced different styles of music while staying anchored to 4-part harmony. Now, people think it's just male quartet, but it's not. It's just 4-part harmony in general is what anchors this music to its identity, versus other styles, and that relationship, and how that's able to transcend from the time of the 20s into the 50s, into the 80s, and into the 2000s. And groups represent all different styles of that. And it doesn't matter what age you are, people like it. Music has changed so dramatically, in that now people my age and younger, you look at their phone and what they're listening to on Spotify and Apple Music and all that, it's not exclusively music that's produced in their era. It's from all eras. You could find young people listening to barbershop, Elvis Presley, all the way up into Taylor Swift. And so everybody my age and younger, we just like music.
Yep.
It doesn't register with us, oh, this is old music, I'm not listening to it. If it's good, it's good. And that's the same thing for gospel music. Right now, a lot of people really love that classic Gaither vocal band sound. Like whenever Bill, Guy, Mark, and David, to me, that's the best group that's ever. They've had a lot of great iterations. That's the best one. Right now, a lot of people my age that have never heard that before are finding it on YouTube and man, this is some solid stuff. Yeah. And it is. It doesn't matter that it's older than they've been alive. They like it,
Yeah.
Good. I love the fact that he said classic, and I can remember when they came out.
It's a different version of classic.
We'll move on from there.
Even the word classic kind of moves forward a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm Christian. I'm the youngest of this group of fine fellows.
Back to the sign language.
Happen to be the best of them as well.
Yes, yeah.
So I wasn't here the whole way, but I'm here now. So I love music more than anything else. That's who I am. That's my identity. I love to play music. I love to learn about music. I love to write music, to innovate. Always trying to find new ways to reshape and rethink about things. As far as that's concerned, I love to create. I am an artist at heart. That's me. So as far as what were you saying about the
I said a lot of things.
Yeah, I was
How
just
people
trying to
listen
sign
to-
language
to let me know what he was
the,
saying.
The audience know that because in this new generation of growing up in music, that you were actually born on the bus.
Right.
In West Virginia, almost 20 years ago, this coming Friday. I don't know when this is going to air, but your birthday's here in September, but you'll be 20 years old. So you spent all of your life born on a bus, lived on a bus, got off the bus to go sing, got right back on the bus. And so that's kind of who you are. So you've been surrounded with this environment and this music industry all of your life.
Well, back then we were very poor, and so
Well,
we
right
couldn't
now we're very
we
poor.
couldn't afford the hospital.
Just poor, very poor.
Right.
Difference.
Yeah, the hospital charged too much, so he was born on the bus,
Yeah,
and then they wrapped him in swaddling clothes.
And lied him in a
and
manger.
laid in a manger.
Oh,
Light him in
That's
the back seat of
Yeah,
the bus.
actually, they laid him in a guitar case.
Yeah, there you go.
Thus, his love for music was born on the day that he
Amen.
was.
That's the way it happened.
I love that. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Again, the generational thing is what excites me. The fact that we are passing on a heritage, and as you mentioned, good music's good music, and I think that's technology today has allowed us to be able to access that even better.
Right.
For those of us who are classic, if we want to use that word,
I resemble that remark.
yeah. We couldn't exactly travel with the 600 albums and the 2,000 cassette tapes and even the CDs anymore. But you can grab it and put it on any device, your phone, and I love that. So, tell us a little bit more about as far as the family. I know you guys do a lot overseas. Would love for our audience to know a little bit about that as well, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So Michelle and I had 8 children. Now we only have the best 3 with us now. So sorry for the rest of you who might be tuning in. But anyway, they are now in ministry, whether it's in just going to church and working with the music department, or they're actually ministers of music at these churches and associate pastors. And so we launched them. The Bible says that children are like arrows in the hands of a mighty man. What you don't keep them in your quiver, you got to shoot them. And at some point in their life, you launch them out and pray for the winds of grace to help them hit the target. And so we're excited that they're still serving the Lord in ministry. But now we're working together with just 3 of our children, Michelle and I. So there's 5 of us that show up on the stages and sing from our hearts and present also the work that God has led us to do overseas in Uganda, Africa. So we actually have founded an organization called Hope's Cry International, which takes in those who have been rescued from human trafficking, and we supply the shelter and we run the complete rehabilitation program, and on occasions we're actually involved in the rescuing as well. But then our primary emphasis is on the rehabilitation and then getting them ready to resettle them back into the villages where they came from. Very, very desperate place where they're being targeted. We talked about being poor a while ago. We really don't know what poor is until you get into a country where people are just lucky to survive through the day. But a lot of that desperation moves them into trafficking their daughters, even their sons, and some of them really don't even know what's being told them, whether it's true or not, but they find themselves locked or enslaved in a situation that they never would have dreamed that would happen to them. But by the grace of God, some of these are being rescued, and they're finding their way to our shelter, where everything is based upon the scriptures, our curriculums, our Bible studies, everything. We just love them with the love of Jesus. We don't make them come to anything because it's considered religious abuse. If you say you don't do this, you won't get this. So it's very, very well organized and put together, but the girls are seeing a love that they've never seen before, and they're responding to the love. And they have their own a copy of the scriptures in an audio format, and now also we're teaching them how to write their own names. They come to us not even knowing how to write, and so they're getting that kind of education, and so they have their own Bibles, a written copy as well, and I wish everybody who is listening could be there to see what we see. There's an old saying, I can't unsee what I saw. And when you see these little girls who had no life find Jesus, and then our devotion time is they're just praising God with their singing, some just fall to their knees and lift their hands to heaven and praising God for what he has brought them from and brought them to. It is an amazing thing. That is my reward. I know I'm going to carry that reward from here all the way to heaven. So people who might want to know a little bit more about that ministry, hopescry.com, without the apostrophe, just hopes with an S, cry.com, and you can get a lot of information about the work that God is allowing us to do over in the country of Uganda.
I appreciate that. That's just such a needed ministry. Most people, again, here in our country, we talk about being poor, and so very much a relative term.
Yeah.
To understand what's going around in this world, and we've got a message that's worth sending, and so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So here in the U.S., obviously, traveling and singing, and so as you're kind of putting those pieces together, mentioned kind of some songwriting. What are you looking for as you kind of put together songs, or as you're looking to write some songs? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm getting closer to the place where I'm writing more and more of our songs. I'm just sort of getting on the edge of that. I've had a problem with finishing songs, so I'm a little bit late to having the long list of here's all the stuff we've done. But personally, it's just something that interests me. I have to start there, or else it's not going to interest anyone else. So a new idea, a new angle I can add to something that previously exists that'll spark something in my mind. I usually try to start with a hook. There's a word prosody when the melody and the lyrics are sort of fused together to create a symbiotic thing, and that sparks the rest of the idea. So there'll be a few different ways I try to go about it when I do.
Good. I appreciate that. And again, I love hearing this from the younger generation because, we can rest on a lot of the songs and the classics are great, but dealing with where we are today, I think sometimes having that new look at it is great. So as you're putting music together for your concerts or in churches, what does that look like? How do you pick the music that you're going to be doing?
Well, we like to choose kind of to what Christian said. If it's something that you enjoy, if it's something that blesses you, then that's what we go with. Our concerts have many different styles in them. Some much more traditional Southern gospel, some that could be considered modern praise, worship and worship. Some there's a zone in the middle that people like the Gettys do quite a bit, or Brooklyn Tabernacle, and that's kind of where praise and worship and Southern gospel or hymns meet in the middle. Because a lot of people say, oh, it's one or the other. No, there's actually a bunch of little notches in between those two. And, a cappella is a big part of what we do as well. Basically, if we listen to it and we like how it sounds, or if we have an idea and we're passionate about it, we don't say, well, we only sing this kind of music, so we're not going to do that. Like, well, if we think it'll work, if we think people will like it, we'll do it, And I think it's actually a good message for a lot of people, especially young people today. On social media, we get so influenced by trends, things that the audience responds to, and so people will build an entire platform around just trying to clue into exactly what's going to hit an emotional trigger and get people to respond as quickly as possible. But the simple fact is, wow, it's an effective way to build a following. If you don't believe it, if you don't enjoy it, it's pretty easy to tell who's faking it. I can watch people that are good at cooking, like YouTube chefs. The ones that really like it, you can tell the difference between the ones like, well, this is a social media gig and I've got to put on a show for the camera. People are not as stupid as we think. They can tell the subtleties of if somebody really enjoys what they do. And we would rather sing whatever God blesses us with. Like if he's blessing us through a song, it doesn't matter how it sounds or who's going to react to it negatively or positively. We are worshiping him. And so we do those songs. And if we wanted to pigeonhole it and say, nope, it's only got to be this thing, well, then we're not passionate about it. It's just a show. It's just for a particular market of people because they're the ones that are going to buy CDs or whatever. It shouldn't be about that.
I love that.
Right.
I appreciate that because I tell you that's one of the things we're learning with especially this younger generation. You're seeing all the videos, you're seeing all the things. You watch enough of it, you're going to be able to tell that's fake. That's not real.
Right.
And we have seen in a lot of studies that we have observed and even been a part of, the Gen Z, almost 80% believe everybody's lying to them. It's not real.
Right.
So they're looking for somebody to tell them the truth. And so we may need to do it in a couple different genres. We may need to do it in a couple different ways. But when they see the genuineness, they see the love of the Lord really coming out. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing that response. So thank you guys for doing
love
that.
that.
You're right.
I
It's
love
so hard. You sit there going, we're just going to do this.
Right.
Well, that might fit that group right there, but what are you going to do about the other 1,000
Right,
or
right.
million or whoever else is out in the
Exactly.
world? What are you going to do? And if God's given you that talent and ability to reach that audience, I appreciate that.
Well, to kind of follow up on that, we have like a 15 to 20 songs that we could pull at any time to put into a program without rehearsing them and doing it over again. And those are the songs that we sing for like a year and a half until we do another project and we have another set of songs. And so I've always tried to let my children know that when we approach singing these songs, don't sing them like you've sung them 5,000 times already. Let it be as fresh and as real and as new to you as possible, because people have often said, I enjoyed the music, but I also enjoyed watching you worship as you sang the music. And, the Spirit can become visible as he is animating the body to do a true worship to God. And the Bible says that grace is visible. People see it, lived out in our lives. And so we want people to see that we are invested in what we're doing, and we take great care. We put lots of finances to try to get the best product that we can to give to the audience. But beyond that, if you watch us in person, it's not just for performance. If it is for performance, it's to an audience of one. And we want God to be pleased with our worship to him. And if there's any overflow, then everybody else can get it.
Love it, love it. Yeah, music is such a powerful thing. And if the message comes across not just in performance, well, you're going to affect somebody in a performance. Oh, I love the performance. But I love the fact that you said, if you use that same thing, and it's obviously the Holy Spirit's moving, it's going to affect lives.
Right.
It is absolutely
And
going to.
people know it. Yep.
They know it. So, any new projects coming up? Any new releases coming
Yeah.
up? Where we at?
Well, there's
that's
some things we can't really give too many details about, but we are potentially, in quotes, planning some special things for year number 30, which is next year. So people can be on the lookout for special projects, music and otherwise, that we'll be using to celebrate that milestone. So be sure to keep looking, keep watching, follow us on YouTube, Facebook. We'll put out original stuff there all the time anyway, so yeah.
So, I'm assuming on your website you have where you're going to be, your travel schedule.
Yep, people can go to theallensmusic.com and click on tour and find all the places that we're going to be, hopefully, and when.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely want you to go there. We have a listening audience all over the country, so we always tell them, if you guys can travel that far to come there, they can drive 2 or 3 hours to come see you. We want to encourage them to do so and be a part of that. We obviously will connect all of your stuff to our social media, our website, the YouTube channel. In fact, they can actually go to our website, look under artists, and actually right there see the YouTube video. They don't have to go to the channel, even though we encourage you to do that. We also want them to follow you guys, because that definitely helps you guys out, kind of see the reaction there. So thank you guys for spending a few minutes with us. We love what you do. We definitely want to keep connections here, because I think we're on the same track here. So thank you
Amen.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
All right. Thanks, guys.